Okay, so if y'all didn't hear, I'm just letting everybody share just, what piqued your interest to come to this session. So you want to go next?
I'm not sure. I just showed up.
All right, good. Same for you? Okay.
I enjoyed your session the other day, and so when I was presenting something, I just came back for that.
Okay, yeah.
Is this clearing the...
Yes.
Just anything to do with being different and being, having the courage to be different and being able to just put your stuff out there and not worry about what people think of it. Anything that will empower me, that's I'm going to.
Cool, you're in the right place.
Yeah, I guess I feel like my mindset is right for this kind of thing because I'm in a very you can, do what you want to do type of mindset. I'm just kind of, I'm just kind of curious about what you're going to talk about.
Okay, cool. Anybody on the back row?
I read your bio.
Okay.
And I didn't get to hear you speak yesterday.
Okay.
So I'm very excited to
Okay.
get to know you.
Cool.
I don't have to never answer.
That's
I
okay.
didn't understand from your title what it's going to be about, but you said it's a nice title.
All right, cool.
It's a great title. Robert
Right, yeah.
I'm here for my husband.
Okay.
He should be here, and he can't be.
Okay.
So I'm going to absorb.
Cool.
Hopefully give myself tools to understand where he is.
Okay.
And she'll channel it.
So, an interesting thing about psych-K, an interesting thing about changing our beliefs and changing so another way to talk about it is, did anybody come to Teresa's session on unconscious bias? Okay, so that was a really great kind of intro to, what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of that stuff, and then we're going to get to experiencing a little bit of psych-K, because it's hard to describe, and even when you describe it, it's hard for people to conceptualize when they're, as you're describing it. So, it's proprietary, so they don't put videos on the website of people doing it, and which I think is in a lot of ways a good thing, because you don't want to try to imitate what you see on the video, because there's kind of so much more to it. So you can go to a training and learn how to do it yourself. Anybody can. The biggest challenge is accurate muscle testing. So getting comfortable with muscle testing is the biggest thing. But what I was going to say is when we change our beliefs, when we change our unconscious biases, our experience of the world changes, but it's interesting how that kind of ripples out to the people close to us. And, it sounds weird, but the people around you change, and relationships change, even if the other person isn't doing any of their own work at all, So using psych-K for yourself can create, I think what happens is as you kind of expand your consciousness, that just kind of ripples out, so that it kind of helps to elevate the people around you and helps expand their consciousness. So it does affect other people, even if they're not going to come, and do a session with psych-K or do their own work. So it's interesting how that works.
Can you
Okay.
do it on yourself?
Yes.
You can.
Mhm. I just do, I muscle test like this. Yeah. Come on in. So we're just getting started. Okay, so I realized that I didn't really do a good intro at the beginning of my first session, so I figured I should introduce myself a little bit better. My name's Christina Wester, and I've been unschooling my kids since 2007. I realized, I used to say I've been an unschooler since 2007, but once I started thinking about it, I think really I've been an unschooler most of my life. I started very young, questioning everything, and I was one of those annoying kids that said, why do we have to do it this way? Why is that the rule? I wanted to know, why do we have to do it this way? Because it seems really stupid and inefficient and whatever, you know. So my whole life I've been kind of challenging what I call the old paradigm, right? It's kind of the way things have always been done, and at least in my mind, creating ideas for the new ways. And then as I became an adult and finally had some power, right? Because I was raised in a very authoritarian kind of atmosphere. I definitely began to take that road less traveled and move in alternative directions in terms of really just about everything. And so in 2007, after 2 years of school, kindergarten to first grade for my son, it was very clear that this old paradigm of school was not going to work for him, and so we started unschooling, and so then it's just even more unconscious bias to undo, right? To when we set out on a path that we feel in our hearts, right? Like when I just made the decision to unschool, it was the most amazing feeling of peace that came over me. I'd been really struggling, like how should we do this? I don't know if I can homeschool. And once I was like, this is what we're going to do. Even if I didn't know if we were going to do it forever, but I made the decision that, okay, we're going to try this unschooling thing, and it was just the best sense of peace I've ever experienced. But then it's like, okay, but you got to undo some of that programming, right? So in end of 2008, I began using psych-K with a facilitator. It was a friend of mine that we had been talking a lot about. I had been working with the law of attraction and some, the whole, what is it called? Like unity and science of mind and some of that kind of stuff. So I was saying affirmations, and we were working on prosperity, and just wasn't making the progress that I wanted to make. I'm very impatient. And so once I have an idea of, how I want the direction I want things to go, if it doesn't happen pretty quickly, I get pretty frustrated. So I was pretty frustrated that our prosperity affirmations and all the stuff I was working with were not really bringing the results that, quickly enough. And my friend said, oh, you need psych-K. That's what you need. And I was like, what is that? I had no idea, right? So I just started doing it with her, and the results were just powerful. Like you said, just amazing. So, for years I just kind of off and on used it for help with deschooling, help with creating more prosperity in our lives.
What is that? Can you spell it? I have no idea.
Psych-K. Okay, so it's psych, like psychological.
Yeah, I've never heard that term
Yeah,
before.
and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I'm gonna go back and explain stuff. But okay, so it's PSYCHK. And so when it started, it was psychological kinesiology. So everybody knows what kinesiology is muscle testing. But then after a while, he came up with it in 1988, and that was the name of it. But then now he says it's the key to unlock your full potential, right? Psych-K, K for key. And so where was I? Oh yeah, so I've used psych-K for increasing abundance and prosperity, deschooling, building a business, releasing the blocks that I had to that kind of success, and then I kind of didn't use it for a while because things were going really well, and found myself in a pretty deep depression. What year was that? I don't know. My son has severe autism, and I was really struggling with the lack of freedom in my life. He requires constant care. The perceived lack of freedom that I would never have again in the future, because he's going to live with us the rest of my life. So the probably most profound shifts that I've had with psych-K have been to do with that, and the depression and the anxiety, and then understanding that what came out of all of that was that lack of freedom that I was so depressed about was really had to do with, the lack of freedom I had as a child, right? That, I came into this world ready to shake shit up, right? And all the people around me were like, nope, that's not appropriate. Nope, can't do that. Nope, and so it was just like, they just shoved me into that box as best they could, and so all those wounds were just resurfacing again, in another experience. So that will, you'll find that happens a lot, right? We have certain relationship patterns that keep repeating, right? Even when you divorce somebody or break up with somebody, you end up a lot of times with somebody similar to the, the asshole you were with before or whatever. So it's, there are patterns like that happen, and it can all be traced back to, kind of our subconscious programming, the unconscious bias that Teresa talked about. So, okay, I didn't mean to go that long on the intro, but does anybody have questions?
Are you going to show us how to do that?
The psych-K? Yes. Well, okay, so we're going to do everybody's going to do a balance, and I'm not going to be teaching you all of the components, so you can do it. I mean, you can try to do it at home, but it's best to take the class if you want to try to facilitate for yourself. But there are teachers that teach it all around, and like my teacher that lives in Texas, she'll travel anywhere to go. If you get a few people together, she'll travel and come teach you how to do it. And then you can also, if you're not sure about muscle testing or if you're not sure if you want to pay the money to do the class, you can just do sessions with a facilitator, either in person or like over the phone or FaceTime or something. Okay, so I'm gonna start talking. Does anybody know about Bruce Lipton? Only one, two? Okay, so Bruce Lipton is a cellular biologist. He wrote the book called Biology of Belief. And I just wanted to kind of give a quick, and maybe you can help me because this is going to be...
He's amazing and it's hard to encapsulate.
Right, but it's kind of a scientific basis for some of the stuff that has to do with beliefs and perception. So Bruce Lipton is a cellular biologist, and he, in the 70s, was doing some of the first DNA research that was happening, right, when they were first working with DNA. And at the time they thought, okay, you've got a cell, right? And inside the cell is the nucleus, right? And then there's all these little organelles and, things, parts of the cell that perform different functions, right? And inside the nucleus is the DNA, right? All those little strands of DNA are in the nucleus. And they thought that the nucleus was the brain of the cell, right? And that's really even what they're still teaching in biology class, aren't they? Okay, so Bruce Lipton has discovered the new paradigm of science, and it's really interesting when you get into his work and read his books. And you can watch, if you don't like to read, you can watch his lectures on YouTube, which he covers all the stuff he writes about in his books. Okay, so as they're doing this DNA research, they're removing the nucleus of the cells for, I don't know what the experiment was, but I think it was for something else. And the assumption was, well, when you remove the brain of an organism, what happens? It dies, right? So they removed these nuclei from the cells, and the cells kept on living. They kept on taking in nutrients. They kept on excreting waste. They kept on, allowing so there's, proteins that come to the edge of the cell, and the membrane will say either yes, you can come in because you're a safe thing, you're a nutrient, something good, or it will say no, you have to stay out, and the cell will kind of go into protection mode so that it can keep that bad thing out. It receives messages through hormones, so like stress hormones, or the good hormones like oxytocin, whatever hormones are coming, the cell gets messages of like it's safe out there, you can keep growing, keep synthesizing nutrients, keep dividing, or if the stress hormones come, then it goes into protection mode, right? And so an important piece of his work is that a cell can never be growing and also in protection mode at the same time, right? You're either in protection mode or you're in growth mode. So when the cell membrane perceives that it's not safe, that there's either toxins or those stress hormones, and it's going to kind of shut down some of its functions and go into protection mode. When it perceives through the external stimuli that it's safe out there, that good stuff is coming in, then it's going to be in growth mode. So what he realized through this whole situation through his work was that the brain of the cell is not this is just more, the DNA is just more like the blueprint, right? But the actual perception that takes place is on the membrane. And the behavior of the cell is dependent on the environment, right? So if the stress hormones are there, the environment, the cell reacts in a certain way. If the good hormones, the happy hormones are there, then the cell reacts in a certain way. And so he realized that, and then took that to the macro level, that it's true for us as well, right? When we're perceiving that our environment is not safe, we can't really grow, right? We can't, even like in the extreme situation of you're running from the saber-toothed tiger, all your blood goes from these organs to the extremities, right? So you can run. And so digestion, immune system, all of those functions shut down when you're in that extreme fight or flight, right? So, so he's made the connection that our environment determines, and our perception of the environment, right, determines physiologically, what's going on, but then also, mentally and emotionally what's going on. So okay, I'm gonna not get ahead of myself. So, this probably isn't gonna be big enough, but let's see what it is. All right, so Bruce Lipton, Dr. Lipton, once he understood this about perception, he started looking at, how humans perceive things just in our lives, and came to understand that our subconscious programming, right, like everything, and the unconscious bias class talked a lot about how we get that kind of programming. But what he noticed is that, so this is brainwave activity, age 0 to 2. This is low frequency and high frequency. So at age 0 to 2, he found that humans only have delta, or predominantly, I guess, delta brainwaves. Okay, and the delta brainwaves are the kind of unconscious state. That doesn't mean, they do spend time asleep, a lot of time asleep, but that means that they're just kind of in that quiet state of, like observing, downloading information, not really evaluating anything or engaged with the surroundings, just observing it, right? So, and we know this because they, when they can put you in, like with hypnosis, you can get down into the beta and delta brainwaves, and that's the experience. They've been able to measure this, right? So then he also found that, okay, from age 2 to 6, we begin to have theta brainwaves, and that's when we're in the imagination state. It's the twilight reverie state when you're kind of first falling asleep or first waking up, and it's also a highly suggestible state. So, so we spend the first 6 years of our lives basically in hypnosis, right? In a state, our brainwaves are in a state where we're not really judging what happens around us. I mean, we might judge it in the sense that, like, I don't like that when you hit me, that hurts, but it's not right or wrong, right? It just is. So, so the first 6 years of our lives, everything that we experience, our subconscious mind is just recording, right? It's just receiving information about the world around us and not making any judgments about it, right? So at this time is when, like, that's when I was taught through my experience that freedom is not something that you deserve. It's not something that, you're not worthy of it. It's not something that you can even have, right? And so, continue throughout my life having experiences where my freedom would be taken away, right? All right, so I'll just keep going with the ages. So from age 6 to 12, or well, yeah, age 6 to 12, you have all three of the types of brainwaves. Alpha, which is conscious, and you do start to evaluate and influence the information that's coming in. So your filters are created, but the filters are created by the experiences, from age 2 to 6. And then around age 12, we start to have beta brainwaves, which is that kind of active, focused consciousness, like when you're really immersed in your work and you're kind of in that zone of, really focused and engaged in what you're doing. So, because we've all had this period of our lives, we all have, these subconscious beliefs about the world and about ourselves and about everything that goes around. So, so this period, from age 2 to 6, will often create some of these kinds of beliefs, right? That it could be one or the other, right? That we're worthless, powerless, incompetent, outcast, victimized, and unloved. And a lot of times it has to do with the scenario, right? So like you might feel, or you might believe that you're a victim in certain situations, but then in other situations you feel empowered, and it's dependent on the situation. So as we, enter into this phase of our lives, we begin to, become conscious of some of these things, these areas that we're feeling powerless or worthless. And then we begin to do things like the affirmations, or, we'll come to an unschooling conference to try to get some deschooling done, and we'll go to a therapist, and we'll, do all these other things to try to move from this side over to this side. But the problem is that, and that's conscious work that is valuable and does have results, and, I've been to many unschooling conferences that, I had great insights and great progress on my path, and, definitely all of the conscious things that I've done to try to get over to this column have been very valuable. But it's like you get to this point where you just can't, you're like, I know that I can, get there, but I just don't know how, right? And it's because there's still a little bit of this stuff in your subconscious, from this period of life. Does anybody have any questions? It feels like I just raced through that. Okay. All right, so enter Rob Williams. So Rob Williams is the creator of psych-K, and he, in 1980, before 1988, he was a cable company executive, making lots of money, and totally unsatisfied with his life, right? So he decides to quit his job and become, he got his master's in counseling, and he became a therapist. So he starts working with clients and gets really frustrated at how long it takes, right? Has anybody done talk therapy in here? So, you can have insights and breakthroughs, and you can make progress, but it really does, in my experience, it takes forever, right? Lots of appointments, lots of, talking about the same thing over and over again, right? And so he was because he had come from the business world, which is very results oriented, right? Like if you're in the business world, if you're doing something for, a couple of years and you're not making much progress, it's time to say, wait a minute, are we doing something wrong? And, and in that, the world of psychology, it's just like, oh no, it just takes a long time. They just kind of accepted that, and he was not willing to accept that. So, he kind of had this, almost like an existential crisis. And during this, the psych-K, the idea for the psych-K came to him. So, so psych-K is a set of processes that create a whole brain state. So, you will kind of go into these brainwaves a little bit when you do psych-K, but it's more about getting the hemispheres of the brain to talk to each other. And so when the hemisphere, and they call it a whole brain state. So when you're doing the process, you're in a whole brain state, which is, it opens up the mind to be able to kind of reprogram, the beliefs the unhelpful beliefs, the unsupportive beliefs, like these, into more of these kind. I feel like I forgot something. Oh yeah, we were going to talk about some beliefs about children, learning, success, that kind of thing. So I was thinking we could just throw out a few of those. Let me put it up here.
Did you travel with that board?
What's that?
Did you find that board?
Yeah, they had it in the kids' room. Okay, so basically what happens is in life we have stimulus, right? And then we have our response. And so one example, like getting fired from your job, is something that would be a stimulus, right? And what might be a response to getting fired from your job? It could be an action or it could be a feeling.
Anger.
Okay. Any others?
Shame.
Shame, depression, relief.
Depends.
I mean, it could be. Worry, maybe. Okay, so kind of the old way of thinking is that we have stimulus, which creates a response, right? Well, Bruce Lipton discovered that no, it's our beliefs, it's our subconscious programming, B-L-I-E, it's our bias, right? Our unconscious bias that creates a perception, right? So we perceive getting fired in a certain way, and that creates our response. So the relief, so if your belief about your job is, well, I should have quit that job anyway, or I really hated that job, or now I'm free to do the thing that I really want to do, then your reaction is going to be a relief. But if you have other beliefs, about your job, about, getting fired, means that I'm a bad person or whatever, then you might have shame. And if you have a belief about getting fired means, or if you have a belief that it's hard to find a new job, right, then getting fired is going to cause worry, right, maybe depression. So this is true. This is the same thing that happens with, our children. So let's just say, and instead of stimulus, it's more like the topic is children, right? So what are some beliefs about children? Bill, that are going to cause different responses?
About kids in general, not a certain thing that happens.
Or let's just do them all. Let's do like children, learning, and success.
Children are.
Yeah, so like
Undisciplined.
right, yeah. Like okay, so maybe we should go at it. So as unschoolers, right, we have certain beliefs about children, learning, and success that cause different responses, right? Some of those beliefs are that children should be free to explore, right? And then, so that's going to cause, so I'm just going to say free. If you believe that they should be free, then you're going to have a certain response. One of those responses might be to take your kid out of school, right? It might be, sadness at, or depression, seeing, a kid in school that's forced to do things they don't want to do, right? This belief might cause you to unschool, but probably subconsciously, you also have some beliefs from that, early childhood period that are things like, children should obey, we'll just say. Or that children need guidance, right? Children need to be kind of molded and formed, right?
Or freedom is unsafe.
Right. So So these subconscious beliefs are going to get in the way, of what you're trying to do here. Does that make sense? So let's just do success. Like, what are some beliefs about success? Success takes hard work. Yeah, right. It's not fun, right? What are some other beliefs about success?
That it's you need to be gifted.
I'm sorry.
That you need to be gifted.
Ah,
Need
okay,
something
so
really
special gifts.
I think for myself growing up, I don't know if that word makes sense, but like success would be like being the best at something. I don't know if it's like
Yeah.
Competition.
competition.
Yeah. Success means you have to be in a certain percentile.
Reach your potential.
Right. So yeah, so I'm just gonna say be at the top, right? Success means you're at the top,
Yeah.
or pretty high up there at least. Okay, so if you have beliefs that, children should be free, and you decide, you're like, okay, yeah, unschooling, that feels right? Like, oh yeah, unschooling, I feel peaceful when I think about that. That's what we're gonna do. But then you've got all these beliefs that are still, in your subconscious, and sometimes we're not even aware of them, right? Because we've been working so hard, to achieve the beliefs, to change our beliefs to the ones that we want, the ones that resonate with us, the ones that we feel like are the true ones that, are guiding us on our path. But when these will pop up. So what might be a response? If you're trying to unschool, but you think that, in order to be successful, you have to do hard work and do the not fun stuff, and you have to have these special gifts, and you have to be at the top 10% of whatever, then that's going to really shake your unschooling resolve, right? Or anytime a mother-in-law or somebody says, anything about anything, of course it's going to trigger, the doubts and the fears that that really come, from these kinds of beliefs. All right. So anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so there's a lot behind this, that schooling equals success. And so
Right.
unschooling equals, oh my God, we don't
Unsuccess.
know what.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The opposite of
It's
success,
like the
right?
mystery, and
Yeah.
to accept a mystery or the unknown can be scary.
Totally.
Without faith that all's good, I feel myself scrambling at times.
Right, and even that belief that all is well. I wasn't taught that. I wasn't
Oh,
taught
yeah.
that by example. I wasn't taught that by experience. I was taught this stuff. So yeah, to become more confident, in the chosen beliefs, in the beliefs that really resonate with your soul, that are like, yeah, I think children should be free, and I think life should be easy and joyful, and but that's really contrary to a lot of our experiences.
I know for me, like 10 years ago, going to our first unschooling conference when we had just started, that I had all these fears because it was like totally new to my brain. And that being at that conference and seeing the young adults and teenagers gave me when mine were little,
Yes.
gave me so much more of a calm, it's gonna be okay feeling, because I didn't have any results to look at. What if all these people are saying the right thing, and my kids won't be this and they won't be that, and then
Because we weren't unschooled.
Right.
And so you believe it, and then I came and I saw the proof in the pudding that these were like awesome young adults who were like unique and proud of being unique and
Right.
intelligent and doing exciting things, and I was like, all right, this is gonna work out.
Right. And so that was,
A shift of belief.
it was, and you had to have that experience.
Right.
So experiences shape our beliefs so profoundly, and not meeting, if you haven't had the opportunity to meet some teenagers that were unschooled, then it's really hard to, to get here, because you're staying here, because that's the only experience you've had, right? people have been saying this stuff and, you know, living this way all around you for your whole life. So until you have that experience, you know, it's really tough to change until you use psych-K. Okay, so what we're gonna do some muscle testing. I swear, y'all, it's really crazy how easy it is to change these beliefs with these little, you know, procedures, processes. And nobody believes you until they experience it. But you should ask. So, Teresa yesterday was getting a massage, and we were talking about, the psych-K sessions that I'm doing. I'm doing more mini sessions, so if you want to sign up, you can sign up on the registration table. And she said, I want to hear about this. I want to know what this is. I guess she had heard about it probably once or twice, and and I was like, well, I gave her the short thing. She's like, okay, yeah, let's try this. And and I said that, you know, one of the best things to do is, since we're just have a short time and you know, we're not going to be able to do a really long session and lots of balances. A balance is what the process is called in psych-K, these different processes you do. I said, let's pick something that you've been working on a long time, kind of like I did with abundance, right, with my friend. I was like, I've been doing these affirmations, and you know, we had some progress, but so I said, pick something that you've been working on a long time consciously, and so, because once you get that last little bit out of the subconscious that's holding you back from that thing, it's just like, you just take off, right? And so we did the balance. And you know, we have time to do 2 or 3 balances. And she did one, and she was like, that's it, I am done, right? And then the tears came, and then the relief, and then she's like, oh my God, that was it. That was the thing that I was, you know, that was stuck. It was keeping her stuck. And so until you experience, you know, that, it's kind of hard to believe that it's that easy to change the things that have kind of been stuck for a while. Okay, so what we're going to do first is practice muscle testing, and then we're going to do a balance. And how many of us? 1, 2, 3, 4. So do I count him? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we've got an odd number, so I'll pair with somebody. So who wants to come up here, and I'll demonstrate the process, and then we'll pair up, and everybody can, this is just kind of establishing a baseline for the strong response and the weak response. And all of y'all have heard of muscle testing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the way we do it with psych-K is you just stick an arm out to the side. You want to keep your chin parallel to the floor, and then eyes go down. So you just pick a spot on the floor so that your eyes stay down low in their sockets. Okay, so you want to have, so it's kind of like electricity, right? You want to close the circuit. So you got a hand here, and then a hand just gently resting here. So I'm gonna, every time before I push, I'm gonna say be strong. So just be strong. And I'm just gonna give you a little bit of pressure like that for like 2 or 3 seconds. You don't wanna just do it real quick. You wanna kind of push for just a minute, because sometimes the response will like be strong and then it like wimps out. So give it a good 2-3 second push, and you stay strong until the person is done pushing. Because sometimes people will let go, and you're like, did that go weak, or did you just let go? All right, so what you're going to do first is think of something that you really like and something that you really dislike. So food is sometimes, it's got to be in the same category, and so sometimes food is a good category.
It is not good. For me.
Okay,
You have to think of something else.
something else. So it could be like a movie you really like or dislike, or a song you really like.
Okay, let's go for a movie.
Okay, so you got...
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Thumbs up.
I know. What about a song? Like a song that really gets on your nerves, like, oh my God, if I hear that song one more time, and then a song you really love.
It's terrible, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Let's keep talking.
Y'all
Maybe
start,
someone
okay, we
else.
can do another one too. Y'all start thinking of your like and your dislike so that when you're ready.
Okay.
Okay,
Got
so
it.
you got the
Yes.
thing that you like.
Yes.
All right, so eyes down low, and when you're experiencing that thing, nod your head. Okay, be strong. All right, so see how that stays strong? Now think of the thing that you really dislike in the same category.
Okay.
You experiencing it?
Yes.
Okay, be strong. Okay, so feel how it's harder to stay strong. Okay, so now you're gonna, oh gosh, what's your name?
Michelle, let's use Michelle.
Well, no, use your real name because you're going to say, my name
Okay,
is.
fine.
Okay. Yeah, so eyes open and down low and say, my name is.
My name is Nicole.
Be strong. Okay. And then now say, my name is Frank.
Okay, my name is Frank.
Be strong. Okay, so you feel the difference there?
Yeah, we can.
All right, and then now you're just gonna repeat to yourself, yes, 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 over and over, silently in your head. Just think, yes, 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 and be strong. And now think to yourself, no, 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 and be strong. Okay, so y'all can see the difference there. So what I'd like to do is just pair up, and it's good if you do it with somebody you didn't come with, because then you get to practice with somebody new, and then you can practice with your friend at home. Because muscle testing sometimes takes a little bit of practice. So let's just pair up and do this so that we can kind of get the basics of muscle testing, and then we're going to get started on a balance. And whoever doesn't have a partner, I can see. Okay. So now we have an even number.
Yeah, do you want to go first and I'll push?
Do you want to try and eat? You just hit it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I do first? I want this like.
Pick something you like.
Oh,
That's weird because only one. Oh, maybe it's just one.
say, oh, 16.
Maybe.
Okay, the one I like.
Okay, so
So that's
let's do what we just did. I'll do you first, you can repeat it, and then you can do it to me. Okay. I know now we make it like okay, so I can like the thing I thought I always think of is licorice jelly beans. So something
I had to, I was like,
yeah, like a weird candy or a weird.
oh, I
That's so funny. Maybe I'll practice.
Yeah, I was thinking, can I taste my like they're like Sonic pencils.
oh, yes, okay, that's just good. Like, no. I don't know. And then we even tried it.
And the other, I think that's it.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
We did it. Want me to try you again? Let's do. Yeah.
You have, so you want to do that?
Okay, so first you're gonna think.
Did you feel the difference?
Yes.
What did you end up like this way? Was it first?
Sticks are like food. But I'm not going to get a specific food. It's so ingredient, this thing of rice. But I still like it. I thought that was really weird. So I'm just like, even by writing this down, I want to reach for it.
I actually say diner.
So
That's what they had in mind. It's like, oh, this stuff is connect, you know, like.
okay, so the next one is okay, so and then my name is
So I go to my healthcare. Yes. That was what they did like. And categories. Okay.
big or small?
I go with the second one.
Pushing hard.
I can push it. I just really
Yeah, trying to find where it's.
I like it. No one else can show. My daughter, she loves other she enjoys it. She likes the rice with the toppings.
Oh, did you, my name is,
Okay.
away,
Yeah. And even like organic versus non-organic.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so you put and so you'll just say be strong. So just give me a push.
experience. They gave me two
Okay, so
days.
let's see, I gotta do a food.
I had advanced growth.
So y'all always hear her say be strong, hey y'all.
They basically said make your peace, say goodbye, slowly.
This is always say be strong.
Grow weight with your arms. At this height,
Gonna go one that you don't like.
drop.
Okay, I got it.
I definitely feel a lot more
Basic.
stage.
And pretty sure they were right at that point.
So I
And we
guess
started researching like.
I was lying behind it.
3 seconds into the conversation, we were sounding like yes, you told me she was saying yes and
Something turns out that they're involved. So we started researching where the disease is. And we used this to determine what I disease doesn't exist in
For my 40th
Y'all got it.
birthday, I was
Okay, keep your eyes closed. We're gonna have an open and chin down.
That's what's right.
That's
what you want.
That's what it is.
It happens to be
Yeah,
every
sometimes.
year they take
like a
provide
sale or promotion.
If you have like a
about 5 minutes.
or change it, like a fine or something.
You're not the best
So I said, so what happened? They said, well, we must have been this guy.
My husband.
Let's see, here, I'll try
Here,
it.
you took the file, you're telling me I'm 40.
It's your birthday and we have to be with baby.
Alright, so now think of the
Close.
You really want to go to something. And I went there, and for me, I thought it's going
And then
to
think
be,
of anything that you just like.
What I
you know, from there I'll just become
When
a
I
lot
changed
more
my diet to a
probiotic.
strict diet.
Okay, so some people like, you were really easy, like her strong was like super strong and then my weak was like.
Yeah, that happened to
And
me.
some people are kind of like you're strong, is like really strong, but then you're weak, is like strong, like
Stage
When it got
like,
back,
man,
I went to the doctor for something.
there's something great.
Like it's like my first my first one was a very passionate friend, and my arm just went totally down with the lice.
Since the age of 17, she's really.
Okay, so let's do right, so I don't have your barf about the movie. Yeah. Okay, so let's do your name. What else?
I don't know if that's where she's going. It is a cool thing. And you should try to talk this with
I think the main thing is
a couple antibiotics in here.
okay, so Christina, that's probably your weak response. And that's mine, as I've gotten better, stress testing my weak response. I kind of was more like you when I started out. As I've gotten more confident with stress testing, it's been a much clearer.
And I was like, what? Okay.
So you just kind of have, and you also want to ask your partner, like, is that strong or weak, especially with
Too little in general.
I'm watching
you'll be able to say, oh no, that felt really strong.
And we just convinced each other all the time. It was
You can kind of start to get it.
process over a year. Yeah, I was all the time not
Ask the one I leave. I get to see where it is. Kids go like 7 o'clock at dinner.
all these years. Well,
Is everybody good on the muscle
We went through a lot of
testing?
different things,
Y'all are.
but I think that we actually wrote down is we just combine those traits of how we want.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna
Okay.
get this.
Yeah, I take probably one piece of paper.
It's really cool.
So conscious decision change.
I'm sorry, what should I just take a piece of paper? Everybody needs a
I was
piece of paper.
surprised by the 3 people.
should I pass it?
And, yes, please.
Analyze.
And I scrounged up some markers, but if you'd rather have a pen. There's a whole bunch of markers right here. Oh, okay, good.
We writing sonnets?
Okay, so all I got is markers.
I love markers.
You can use a pen. Oh yeah, there's pens here. Everybody prefers a pen.
Yeah, it's not my dinner, vision board and stuff. 'Cause I didn't
Okay, you stole it.
I remember.
Yeah, it's going to be like
not to be like, oh, this is bad for me. It's not good.
Yeah. Because the judgment good and bad. We don't want to show it on there. The judgment is half of it.
I'm never getting in trouble.
Chocolate is magical. Chocolate is.
Well, we eat
is
cacao, so we get some good stuff.
For you, and he's extremely mathematic person.
Like fun.
You can't change
He
your mind.
talks, he told, like, one thing he says in this video is when you go to Dunkin' Donuts, for instance, nothing is healthy there. But actually, the sugar, of all the things that you digest there, is actually the best part of it. Like, it's not as bad as everything else.
I like him already.
All right.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a goal. So you're gonna decide on the goal that you want. We're gonna do a balance, and the balance is gonna be changing a belief that will become supportive of that goal. So you don't have to know what the limiting belief is. You just need to create your goal. So if your goal is, I want to stop yelling at my kids. You want to state it in the positive. So something like, I want to speak to my kids, gently and calmly or whatever. So think about your goal, write it down, and if you have trouble formulating the goal, I can help you.
You want 2 goals?
So we say it,
One goal.
I want to, or I am.
The belief statement, it will be first person, present tense, kind of like an affirmation. But the goal can be kind of more general. It doesn't have to have the word I. It can if you want. But it can be, I want to, have this much income in the next year. It can be specific like that. It can be, I want to have, a more balanced work and family life. It can be lots of, anything goes really on the goal. And it doesn't have to be in the first person.
Okay.
So just write down your goal.
Everyone will see it. My goal is kind of personal.
You're going to pair up with a partner, so only your partner will know about your goal. But if
That's just another goal then.
but if your goal is too personal, then just think of another goal that can be, something that you can talk about.
Can you say not something? Because I can't think of a positive way to phrase it.
What is it?
Well, everybody, my personal goal is so we don't like to tell the partner. Because the thing I thought with like the old stuff is like no matter how much work I've done in my life, my mom put me on diets when I was little, and I still don't have. I just want to stop obsessing. It's not that I want to but it doesn't. Body acceptance doesn't feel like the right thing. It's like not obsessing about my body.
I want to feel peaceful.
Yeah.
Peaceful about
At
my body.
peace
Thank you.
with my body. Okay, anybody else need help with their goal? Okay, so what we're doing before we do the balance is in psych-K they call it a VAC to the future because he created it in the 80s and I guess they thought that was cute, but it's VAK, so that stands for visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So the subconscious mind doesn't really use words, right? The subconscious mind absorbs information through the 5 senses. Well, all of our senses. Some of us think we have more than 5, right? So you're receiving information, and the subconscious mind is just downloading it and recording it, downloading it and recording it, right? So a lot of times the subconscious mind needs some clarification. So we can come up with this goal and we can come up with this belief statement, but the subconscious mind is like, I don't even know what that means because they have no sensory experience, that
And I
kind
have
of
evidence
anchors.
against it. That's
Right. Well, yeah, what I have is sensory experience that tells me the opposite is
Yeah.
true, right? The universe is an unfriendly place, or whatever the thing is. So we're going to come up with visual, auditory, and kinesthetic kind of anchors, cues for our subconscious mind for this goal. So we're going to come up, the first thing we're going to do is visual, and it's going to be 3 visuals that you will see in your life, 3 things you will see in your life that will mean that your goal is true. So if your goal is, say it's to, grow your business and grow your income by, certain percentage, right? the visual could be seeing yourself on a fabulous vacation on the beach, right? Because that means that goal is true, right? If your goal is balanced family and work life, you could see yourself, you could do 2 of your visuals. One could be like working and then like stopping at a certain time and, to go be with family. And then the other one could be like, enjoying some time with your family that you haven't been able to do lately or something like that. So it doesn't have to, it can be kind of secondary to the goal, but just it's a visual, something you can see in your life that means that goal is true. If it was something about like building your business and, like creating a coaching business, you could see your appointment book full of appointments, right? Or you could see your bank account balance at a certain number.
Again, I'm only thinking of the negative.
Right.
Like, I won't be doing this anymore.
Right.
I won't be doing that. How does peace with something?
And that's...
Then I want to be not thinking about it all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And so maybe you could imagine yourself like going to a restaurant and just like ordering and like you see yourself with a serene look on your face rather than like, oh my God, what am I going to order?
I don't really worry about it.
When
That's
does
just
the
an
worry
example
come
of
up?
like,
Maybe that's
see yourself looking very serene.
It cannot be anything physical, right?
The goal?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Related to health or
Yes,
anything like
yes.
that? Oh, okay.
Totally.
So are we going to visualize these as we do?
No, you're just
We're just picturing it
visualizing
right
it
now.
now.
Right now,
Yes,
okay.
you're creating basically a record in your subconscious of this visual.
Just
you know,
by
it has-
writing it down, Rosine?
I mean, you want to spend a minute kind of seeing it, but then just write it down so you kind of get it clear.
This is really hard.
Sometimes the visual is hard, and if it's too hard, you can go to you can do the auditory and the.
I don't want to picture myself with a perfect body. That's what keeps coming to
Then
mind.
do it.
Oh,
Do it. Picture yourself looking in the mirror, and you see
And
you look peaceful look on your face, and you're just in like a hot outfit. You look cute. You look fit. Picture it, because it's not It's not that you want to like look like a Barbie doll. It's just that you want to be at peace with how your body is. Good to use those, like, I'm not going to be doing this anymore, I'm not going to be doing this anymore, because then you can just try to create, okay, what will I do instead?
Right.
So use those negatives.
What will I do when I'm obsessing over myself?
Oh,
Sometimes that's hard to, yeah.
You just bliss out.
Right, see yourself like, just vegging out, doing,
Yeah. Would you do things differently, or just feel different?
Yeah, it's like something I just think about way too much.
Yeah.
So I want to just not have this negative thing because
right.
my girls are so self-confident, but I don't want to still pass on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, well,
Is
Mom
shopping,
hates the way she looks.
shopping difficult, shopping for clothes? So maybe you could see yourself like just
Yeah.
easily
Happy
trying
trip.
on clothes, like in the dressing room, just like, oh, that looks cute. Oh, that looks
Oh
cute.
my
that
gosh, I
looks
have
cute.
so many.
Yeah, so many choices.
See, that involves being skinny. It's like really
No,
hard
I
not to
feel
make
good
it the
no matter
opposite.
what.
But if I'm looking at myself in the mirror trying on clothes and I want to look good, then I have to, my body needs, I mean, I know this because when I was at a weight I was happy with, not that I was ever happy with it, I could just go in the store and try everything on it, like cute, just like the kids do.
But when you're at peace with your body, no matter what size it is, you will be able to try on.
But I
no
can't
matter.
visualize myself. Maybe I need to visualize something else,
Just
like not my
pretend.
own.
It's-
Not me looking at myself, because then it
Yeah,
makes
it's
it
just a
really hard to.
feeling.
or I can visualize something else going on, not me looking at myself, because then I'm judging it while I'm trying to visualize it.
It's okay. It's okay if it's really hard to visualize it. Just try to get a glimpse of it. Just pretend. Just see yourself looking in the mirror, trying on stuff, and it's just an easy process of trying on clothes. And it's okay if you're skinny in the vision. That's totally okay.
What's the opposite of self-conscious?
Confident?
Confident. I mean, there's lots of opposites, I guess. It depends on, so self-conscious, like, because you're worried about what other people think.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, confident, self-assured. Things like, is it you're trying to express yourself and you're afraid of their judging, or just trying to live your life and they're judging you?
I think it's more, I want to just relax and be myself. And
There you go,
If-
relax.
Yeah, yeah. Relaxed and self-assured.
Yeah, relax and be myself. Pretty much.
Anybody else have any? You all okay back there? Okay. All right, I'm going to move on to the auditory, and then you can come back. Maybe sometimes when you do the auditory and the kinesthetic, then the visuals will come to you easier. Okay, so for auditory, we're going to do two. And the first one is, what will you hear people saying about you now that this goal is real, right? Now that you've achieved the goal, and it's good to do something that they don't say about you now, right? Like, what will they say about the big difference they're noticing in you now that this goal is true?
And it's positive. It's not negative.
Well, okay, it could be, you
My
know.
first thought was a negative.
Well, okay, that might be it. If they're jealous of how awesome you are now, you know, or something like that, like, oh my gosh, she thinks she's hot stuff, you know, like.
What if they don't notice? That was my first thing.
But see, they'll
What if
notice.
they say nothing?
Yeah, but even if, you know, like, even if your body doesn't change, but you're at peace with your body, they're going to notice you're more
Right.
relaxed. So, oh
Yes,
wow, you look so
absolutely.
more relaxed, or, you know.
Okay, so we hear them saying two things?
So we hear them saying one thing. The first one is, what will people be saying about you, about the big difference they're noticing in you now that this goal is true? The second one is, what will you be saying to yourself? So like the moment that you realize, oh my God, I did that, you know, the goal is real. Like, and it can just be like, hell yeah, or, you know, whatever you would say to yourself, like in the mirror, like, oh my God, I did it.
And the third?
So the last part is kinesthetic.
Oh, no, from the audio.
No, there's only two.
Oh.
Mhm.
So the second one is what I'll be saying to myself.
Mhm. Once this goal is to happen, what would you say to yourself?
And you think that it will help what we're doing? And you think it will help what we're doing now? Did you please
Help what? What do you? I don't understand what you're saying.
get there?
To get to your goal? Yes. Yeah, it's at least a start, right? And actually, while y'all are thinking, I'm going to give you the last one, and then I'm going to come around and I just want to muscle test everybody's goal and make sure it's the most appropriate goal for everybody. Okay, so the kinesthetic part is, how will you feel? It's good to come up with like a 1 or 2 word feeling word for how will you feel when this goal has been achieved. So if you're thinking, well, I'm not going to be stressed anymore, you know, just think of the positive feeling that you're going to have. Okay, so
I haven't thought about it yet. Is it
Your
okay?
goal.
No, the last thing is
That's fine.
Okay.
I just want to muscle test.
Yeah.
I thought it's two things, and please, I know, didn't make it.
That's okay, yeah, so which goal are you doing yeah, but we just want to do
Yeah, we'll do
the
that
balance
next.
on one.
Yeah.
Okay, so just say your goal. You can say it. Okay, eyes down low, and this is the most
What was
important.
the last thing we're supposed to do?
How do you feel
Okay,
when you achieve the goal? I think that's what she's talking
okay, this is the most appropriate goal. Okay, so that one's weak, so you work on the other one. Yeah.
If they're,
Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna tell you.
Okay.
And then I think it could be a thing. What would be your comment? Once you've achieved
Oh,
your
in my
goal.
body.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Okay, so you can just ignore that and I'm just gonna muscle test. So just say your goal. So either you can say that if you want to put it here. Right? So eyes open. I didn't hear you. And this is the most appropriate goal. So just say your goal and what's your goal.
What's the kinesthetic?
This is the most
I guess that is the kinesthetic.
Oh, I just want to think backward.
Okay, so, okay, we can listen to this both now, but when we do the balance, you gotta just do one.
Can you tell which ones are better for me?
Yeah, yeah. They might both be strong, and you'll just have to pick, but it won't be strong.
Kinesthetic.
Okay, so just say that one.
And
Okay.
Sorry, okay, INESTHNT.
Feel very strong.
sort of like anesthesia, weird STH
Okay,
thing.
pressure angles all the muscles. Okay, so this is.
Yeah, of course I would relate to that.
It's true if you take the KI and the IC off of the front and the back. OT, I
Yes. Well, well, I'm just telling you
Yeah,
what I
with
want.
anesthesia,
Make sure
it's like
it's
and not feeling.
Yeah.
Not feeling.
Okay, so,
Oh, did you take
alright, so
that?
just say one of your
Did
goals.
actually.
Then the word aesthetic, without either one. Aesthetic is like,
Aesthetic is like, it brings emotion.
Yeah.
like I never thought of aesthetic that way because I was like, isn't that like your style or your?
Aesthetics, yeah.
Hopefully it
And every
So what is the
day,
root is feeling? That's that.
Right. So you could, let's just do on a
we can Google it.
We can Google.
Aesthetics.
Anesthetic. Kinesthetic.
Well, the root is aesthetic. I don't know if it's exactly. Hold please.
Okay, that's wrong. So either one of those. The first one about your just
Aesthetic. I don't know what it comes from.
Yeah, that'll never happen. Right. Does anybody else, y'all have, you know how to muscle test your goal, right? You can muscle test your goal.
Oh, do myself?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
or you don't
very
like
good
to?
at that.
Okay, then give me an arm.
But I'll have Elle do it if you want to do, you do OC and
Well, yeah, y'all can just,
Yeah.
yeah, just
So I stated it.
say
and I
your
said,
goal,
like-
and then you say this is the most appropriate goal at this time, and then be strong.
Okay. So we,
Alright, so,
You gotta make it take some minutes to get in the.
yeah.
okay.
So just say your goal,
Say it out loud.
yeah, or whisper it.
Well, I don't think,
This is the most appropriate goal
you know,
for
I
us.
want to be successful financially, but so.
Great, that's yes.
Here I can.
feel safe and comfortable being myself.
Oh, do you want me to? Like, I'm good.
All right, did everybody get their goal tested? Yes.
Should we say it verbally?
You don't have to, you can just think of it, but it's good to say it just so you know when he's done. And remember, eyes open and down low with the floor. Okay. All right, so does everybody have a feeling for how they're going to feel once their goal is achieved? Yes? No? Speak up if you do not have a feeling. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to close your eyes and get in touch with that feeling, and I'm going to ask you some questions about the feeling. Okay? And so I think probably the best thing is keep your eyes closed, stay in touch with that feeling. I'm going to ask you 5 questions about the feeling, and then you can open your eyes and write them all down, and if you forget, I'll prompt you with what the questions were. Okay, so probably the best thing to do here is close your eyes, get in touch with the feeling, and raise your hand when you're feeling the feeling, okay? And if you have to use another time in your life when you felt that feeling, you can. That's fine. You just have to be feeling that feeling.
The feeling from the kinesthetic?
Yes.
Okay.
So remember to raise your hand once you're feeling the feeling. Getting close. One more person that says feeling the feeling. Okay, so where in your body do you feel the feeling the most? If the feeling has a color, what color is the feeling? So you can put your hands down. So keep your eyes closed, keep that feeling.
Oh,
What
I'm not
color?
supposed to write down?
You can at the end.
Okay.
So if the feeling has a color, what color is it? If the feeling has a shape, what shape is the feeling? If the feeling has a temperature, what temperature or general temperature is that feeling? And if the feeling has a texture, how would it feel if you could touch it with your fingers? All right, so you can open your eyes and just write those down. Where in your body did you feel it the most? What color and shape was it? What temperature was the feeling? And what texture did the feeling have? Okay, so now we're to the part where we're going to create a belief statement to balance for this goal. So hopefully this exercise, going through this clarifying for our subconscious, is going to help you come up with a belief statement. So if you just really can't come up with a belief statement, then we can muscle test and use one from the psych-K list. There's lists and lists of statements. But it's more powerful to come up with your own. So you want it to be first person in the present tense, emotionally powerful. There's another P. Dang it. First person, present tense, emotionally powerful. Short is the last one, and then I'm going to have to look up the other one.
What was the last one?
Short.
Short.
Oh, and positive, right? So not in the negative.
Does it have something to do with your...
So yes, so it's going to have something to do with your goal. So if your goal is to be at peace with... Now, it might be your goal is the statement. I am at peace with my body. That could be a statement.
Does it have something to do with the last thing we did with our eyes closed?
No, but sometimes going through that process helps you.
Okay.
So we can use the same statement that we made.
You
about-
can, muscle test to make sure that it's taken appropriate to balance for that statement.
So it's the belief that's like, that I need to embody in order to achieve my goal?
Yes.
Okay.
And often there's more than one. So it's just, for most goals, it's just a start, right?
Yeah.
So don't feel like you have to get it all in this one statement. Just whatever comes to you that's kind of, something a belief that would be supportive of this goal. And once you have your statement, let me know and I'll come and muscle test your. Alright, so IMPs is the most appropriate statement. There's that main balance at this time. Yeah, so you unpush your IMPs and then well, So is the challenge, is the routine challenge? That is the creative routine? So I'm also sure it's something like that, is it creative routines?
Oh, I like that.
I love this one. Okay, can I say it out loud?
Yeah.
My worth as a person and my financial worth are two separate measures.
Oh, that's nice.
So probably what we should do, since we're running out of time, is if you have your statement, what you want to do is say your statement and have your partner muscle test you to see if it's the right statement. So you can just actually what your partner can do is say blah 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 is the most appropriate statement at this time, and then be strong. So you don't have to say anything. Your partner can just say it all. Blah 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 is the most appropriate statement at this time. I'm sorry? No, it could be anyone.
Yeah, this is the right statement.
Just say the statement. So like say the statement.
On the
Is
statement,
the most appropriate statement at this time. Be strong.
I need to read it because I'm not going to remember it otherwise.
Yes, say the statement. So what is your statement? Okay. So I am love mechanic is the most appropriate statement at this time.
Oh, I see. I got you. There you go.
Okay, ready?
At the
Yeah.
So you say your statement.
I'm pretty sure it's the right. Because I be talking about all this stuff, like I feel like it's the one thing that's like elected.
Until you get over it,
So
then you'll be
it's
like,
just
oh, there's another
like
one.
decades of understanding logically that all that message is wrong.
All right, so what's the opposite of defensive?
I can't get past it, so I feel like it's down from that delta theta. So that's why it came
I
to my
found
mind.
one that was strong.
Yeah.
So she gave one through all the, but it doesn't, I don't think it tells you.
So what was your
Yeah.
It was long because I couldn't do it. I'm a writer, I guess, and I wanted to exactly put my feelings down and not just kind of, because I mean, this is fine.
Yeah, there's always that feeling of beforehand, it's like, oh my God.
I did myself. I radiated, and so it was just peaceful joy.
That's what I'm now thinking, that's a good goal.
So don't do will, feel present tense. I feel, always present tense.
me in too, even to not be like
So do you want to feel comfortable?
Because maybe that's the thing you feel unpeaceful about, whatever your thing is.
When I hear
Julie.
I can show you, yeah, I can show you several ways.
Oh, I use tracking in my.
You're not there. It's my life.
Okay, yeah,
Oh, sure.
most people have doubts.
Tomorrow,
Okay.
Should Susan talk about it?
It is, it's such a good feeling. I'm like, it's taken 50 years. I feel like, who cares what anybody thinks? I know what I am. And so I'm not in that same way. I would make comments and I would get really defensive and now you're like saying things about my parenting and how crappy it is and I'm just
She did, and everyone's watching. But I
say,
wonder.
you say what you say, you
Everybody else I know, right? So
it
one thing, my.
really, it doesn't
Actually,
upset me.
it's just always,
Get very,
so it's not really.
it's like,
I have a whole list of
my parenting, I feel not confident about it. I'm 17. So cool.
This little guy was carrying 250 pounds. I look like a war
First one that.
I look like a war poster. I was like, I may see it. All those meds and moving
Bring all the takes in the world.
Okay, so is everybody feeling like their statement is good? Okay, so we're gonna do the balance. So pair up with your partner. So we're gonna have, we'll do like a partner A and a partner B. And partner A will do the balance first, and then partner B will do their balance. And we're probably gonna go past 3 o'clock, so. Yep, it's 3 o'clock right now. But the balance is very short. I mean, balance takes 1 to 3 minutes, so, but they're gonna be 2 things to muscle test, and then you're gonna do, then you're gonna do the balance. Okay, so find your partner, decide who's gonna be A, which is gonna go first, doing their balance, and then I'm gonna kind of walk you through the process. Do we have an odd number now?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so,
I came late.
yeah. Okay, so get with your partner, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna say your statement, be strong, and see, the statement should be weak.
I mean, the goal.
No, the statement that we just created. The one that we just said, this is the most appropriate statement, and if it was strong, that this is the most appropriate statement. So now the person that's doing the balance is gonna say their statement. I am calm and confident when my bank account is empty. Be strong. And it's weak, right? So then, and so let's do that first. Everybody,
Didn't we just do
Statement
that?
that we just came up with, not the initial one from before.
no,
Didn't we
The
just do
statement we
that?
just came up
no, we just asked if it was the most appropriate statement to balance now.
Oh, okay,
So
now what?
now you're saying the statement. Do you believe this statement? Is this statement congruent with the entire system?
Yeah.
And if it's not congruent with the entire system, it will be weak.
Okay, all right.
And then we're gonna do the balance, and then it will be strong at the end.
Okay.
Okay, so do you have your statement?
So you say your statement, and then the other person says be strong.
That's third one. That's one.
Remember, eyes open and down at the floor. Yeah, you just don't want to stand in front of him, so you can be behind him. Yes, it was a week.
You know what?
And I felt like I was
Okay.
Where I was like,
Okay, and it was, yes, it was a week. If it's hard for you to keep it up, then that's, yeah.
How many times? That means you don't believe that yet.
Right,
Which is
right.
probably true.
So, no, so you're just gonna stay with her, so after you, I'm gonna tell everybody. All right, so was everybody's statement weak?
Yeah,
So
we're
we're
weak.
just doing it strong, is it weak?
Yes.
Was your statement strong?
we started the day over here, I had my.
I was able to actually very strong.
Excellent. We thought that we tested, so we
All right,
switched.
so I stay strong. Stay strong.
Do that.
Be strong.
What it's supposed to do, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that feels,
I just.
feels different than your real name, right? When you do your real name, you're much stronger. Yes. I mean, tell me the truth. Was your real name muscle test much stronger? Say your real name. My name is.
My name is Dustin.
Be strong. Okay, now say your statement again.
I'm in love with Katie.
Be strong. Okay, so feel how that bounces. Yeah. Okay, so is everybody's statement weak? All right, so the next muscle test you're going to do is it's safe and appropriate to balance for this goal now. Sorry, it's safe and appropriate to balance for this goal now. Be strong. But if we want it to be strong,
It's safe and appropriate.
to balance.
Yeah, but I'm
No.
just trying to remember. It
So person B will say it.
Oh,
Person B.
It is safe and appropriate.
It really doesn't matter. You could, you could say it. It doesn't matter really who says it, but just be strong and then push. Always say be strong before you push.
So the first you say.
Oh, yeah, this is
Safe and appropriate.
It's safe and appropriate to balance for this goal now.
Yeah. Right, it's amazing to me, like, what some people, what is weak and what is strong, like, to me, that, like, oh, well, I never thought it go down, but it did go down part of the side.
Once again, it's safe and appropriate to balance for this goal now. Be strong.
Yeah, maybe. It feels, yes, I feel stronger.
Yeah, like no bounce there.
Right? Okay, so, and remember, eyes down low at your spot, like, so then you do really low in your sockets, like, there you go.
Is that a physical thing to keep the eyes down?
Okay, so everybody's strong and it's safe for, okay, now, the next, we got one more question to ask. No, y'all don't switch, because we're gonna switch in a minute.
Oh,
We're just doing our one
we
person.
switched
Okay, that's
already.
okay. That's okay, just go back to the original person. So now the next question is, it's not a question, the next muscle test you're gonna do is, oh, you know what, everybody get ready, I'm gonna say it out loud and y'all muscle test it, okay? After I say be strong, y'all push, okay? All right, everybody ready? So every part of the system is ready, willing, and able to balance for this goal using a new direction balance. Be strong.
Yes.
Is everybody strong? Okay, so now, so the person who's doing the balance is going to sit down and cross their ankles. Doesn't matter which way. Okay, and then stick an arm out so they can muscle test. Now don't stand right in front of them. You want to stand to the side of them so you're not in the midline of their body. Okay, so the ankles are crossed one way or the other. Doesn't matter. Cross your ankles. All right, so now you're going to say be strong and push. And if it's, then just see what happens. So, and eyes down low at your spot, just like every other time. Nice. Okay, so now you're going to test the other way, cross the ankles the other way. Whichever way is stronger is the way you're going to cross them for the balance.
Definitely be strong. That side is stronger.
Okay, so whichever way was stronger, you want to cross the ankles the way that was stronger.
It's funny, 'cause I
Everybody ready? All right, so next you cross your wrists like this, and they're gonna muscle test like this. Be strong. And then switch, and then be strong, whichever way is stronger. Okay. Is the way you're gonna stay.
Do I switch sides to do the other side?
Be strong. Yeah, just, you don't have to.
When he switches, like this.
No, you can stay, yeah, just stay.
Does it feel stronger? Okay.
Yeah, second
Let's
chair.
say,
It doesn't matter.
stronger.
No, keep the ankles strong, stronger. And then do a- so clear answer, please. Be strong.
Now you're balancing it left.
Okay, now switch. And be strong. Okay, so keep them.
I'm switching.
Strong way.
All
All right, so keep your ankles the way they were strong and the wrists the way it was strongest, and then interlace the fingers and just rest the hands in the lap. And if this gets uncomfortable, you can come here, but you just want to keep your.
Oh, I can't really do that.
That's okay. You don't have to.
Go down here?
Just down there is fine.
Is that okay?
All right. Yeah, and then rest your hands in your lap. All right. So now the partner who was muscle testing can go away and sit down. And the main thing is you don't want to be standing in front of the midline of the body when somebody's doing their balance. So, okay. So the people who are doing their balance are going to close their eyes and they're going to say their statement silently to themselves over and over until you feel a shift. The shift can be anything. There's infinite ways that you know that you're done. So if you think you might be done, you're probably done. We'll muscle test to make sure. But when you feel like you're done, you can open your eyes. So you're just saying that statement silently to yourself over and over again. And any resistance that comes up, any emotion that comes up, if tears come, let them flow. If anger comes, just experience it until it subsides. And just keep saying that statement until you feel like you're done. Until you feel clear. Okay, you know what? Will it distract you too much if I just go ahead and let everybody? Okay, so you just keep saying your statement, just plug away. All right, so I'll pair up with whoever doesn't have a partner, and then we'll do the other person now. So start out by saying your statement, be strong, and say it's weak. No, I agree. Is that a weak response for you without?
It's not strong, but it's not like.
Okay, so Jim, my name is OC.
Okay, yeah, do my name is,
I don't know.
stay strong.
My name is OC.
My name is OC.
Okay, now do my name is
Okay,
Julie.
and then say your statement.
Stay strong.
Radiate unconditional love. Be strong.
Okay,
See how it's
say your
like-
statement because.
Doing that balance, I think that's the week.
Of
Okay.
course, it's already stronger from the last few minutes.
Right, yeah. Yeah, the balance kind of starts to work as soon as you come to the statement. Okay, is everybody weak for their statement?
Okay,
Okay.
a little weak. I'll just try it. Okay,
So it's weak?
yeah.
Okay. All right, so now we're gonna get ready to test, and I'll just say it out loud. All right, so every part of this system is ready, willing, and able to balance for, It's safe and appropriate to balance for this goal now. Be strong. Everybody strong on that? Okay, all right, so get ready to muscle test one more time. Every part of this system is ready, willing, and able to balance for this goal using a new direction balance. Be strong.
Strong?
How do you feel?
Oh, that's strong to me. And you were
can't
weak?
see my actual
Yes.
Oh, okay, I thought I saw your arm.
There was a little bit.
Let's just make sure. Okay, so every part of the system is ready, willing, and able to balance for this goal using new direction balance. Is that like, do your name? My name is Buddy. Right, then that. Okay, so I think that you need to do a different kind of balance for this statement, is what's happening. So here, I'll just. All right, so every part of the system is ready with things balance for this goal using
Did you see her? Saw her.
Yeah, so you need a resolution. So let me get them started and then I'll. Okay, so everybody that's ready. It was time for you to do, it's time for you to do your thing,
Okay.
right?
I went to the bathroom.
Okay, that's okay. So let me get them started and then we'll get you started, okay? All right, so everybody that's ready to do their balance, can sit down and cross their ankles. And then you're gonna muscle test and see which way is stronger on crossing the ankles. So eyes down low, open and down low with the floor, be strong. Okay, switch. No, just switch the feet. Oh,
Okay, switch.
and be strong. Okay,
Strong?
first switch was strong. Yeah, and then arms up.
First one.
And eyes down low, be strong. Okay, and then switch. Be strong. First. Okay, yeah, so just interlace. Yeah,
Oh,
right.
This is really bizarre.
Mhm.
The wrong way.
wait, do I push?
No, don't push. So now you just rest them in your lap.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so we got, okay. All right, so you're going to say your statement silently to yourself over and over.
Oh, wait, we didn't tap. Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't tap.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So I do that from the side?
Yes.
What was the statement again?
You just say be strong.
Oh, just be strong.
You close your eyes for this.
Okay, now switch.
Oh, yes, you close your eyes.
Yes.
Okay. Be strong. Oh, hard to tell.
The first one.
So you can do this. Clear answer, please. Eyes down low. Clear answer, please. Be strong. Okay, now switch. And be strong. Without it strong.
Oh, this is better. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay,
now
now do
interlace. Yeah, and then just rest everything. All right, so
Save it.
So you're saying the statement over and over until you feel some sort of shift, you feel like you might be done, then you can open your eyes. Okay.
Sorry.
Resolution. Say the statement silently over and over.
Yes.
Okay, Mark, give me an arm. Eyes down low. This process is complete. Be strong. Yeah. Say that one.
I feel and radiate unconditional love. Thank you. I feel and radiate unconditional love. Be strong.
Yeah. Yeah, you just say it one time like that.
Okay, I tested it before we did that, and he was strong, but.
That's okay. It's called the lock-in process, so it's,
Right.
just do it.
It's like finishing an energetic circle.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I've been doing a lot of experimentation with yoga and doing balances with yoga, and so a lot of yoga poses are like you twist this way, then you twist this way, then you do this. It's like this integration at the end. I can't really tell you like exactly why, but. So you're strong, and you celebrate your statement, your change. This is an important part of the. Okay, so y'all get to see a resolution. This is good. You want to come up here? All right. So it's nothing. Oh, are you done? Okay. Uncross. Fingers together. And then eyes down low at the floor. Say your statement one more time.
Oh, you guys want to know about aesthetic?
Oh yeah.
This process.
My phone was on here.
Say the statement out loud.
Oh, it's 3-2. Aesthetic from German
Right.
aesthetic.
Feel that? Okay, so sometimes it takes like a week to integrate a new belief. So sometimes, and usually if process really strong, you can like 45 minutes and it'll be strong by then. But if it becomes strong,
Touch.
Perfect. I know, right? And it goes with an aesthetic.
What are you radiating again? Unconditional love.
I feel and radiate unconditional love was my final statement that I had.
All right, so Claudine's gonna do. So why don't you stand right here?
Okay.
All right. So this is interesting. There are several different kinds. There's 7 different kinds of balances you can do in psych-K, and New Direction is just one of the simplest and kind of the first one you go to because it's so simple. But then they kind of get progressively more interesting. And sometimes the subconscious says no to making the change with the New Direction balance. And so Claudine, her subconscious did not want to use the New Direction balance and wanted to use the resolution balance. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to talk you through it. You're going to close your eye. Well, actually, before we do that, let's we're going to test each hemisphere. Yes. All right. So stick your nose in the middle, and then eyes go up and to the right, and be strong. Okay, and then eyes up and to the left. Be strong. Okay, so she had a little bit of a weakness there, which means that one hemisphere has a block to this new belief. So we're going to clear that with cross crawls. So what you do is cross crawls are just like this. So kind of get in the rhythm of it, and then get your eyes up and to the left, because that's the way it was weak, wasn't it? Yeah. So when it starts to feel smoother and easier, then you're probably done. Okay. All right, so we'll just test again and make sure you're ready. So eyes up and to the right. Be strong. Eyes up and to the left. Be strong. Okay, so now it's strong. So you're ready to go. All right. Okay, so you're going to extend your arms out to the sides, and then you're going to imagine, well, what's going to happen is your hands are going to eventually float together and meet in the middle. Okay, so you can close your eyes. You're going to imagine that in one hand you're holding one hemisphere of the mind, and in the other hand you're holding the other hemisphere. So when both hemispheres are ready, subconscious mind is going to move your hands effortlessly and automatically toward the front of your body where they will meet. So sometimes it pauses a minute, sometimes it goes fast, sometimes it goes slow. Just let it happen. There you go. So now bring the hands to the body. Keep your eyes closed. You're just going to bring the hands to the body to integrate that belief into the body. Any point on the body that feels appropriate. And if you want to move your hands around on the body while you're integrating, that's fine. We're just integrating this belief into the body. So you have all the time you need for this part of the process, and whenever you feel like the integration part is complete, you can open your eyes. Okay, so we're going to lock it in. So fingertips together, eyes open and down low at the floor, and you're focusing on the best feeling you had during the balance and integration process.
Okay.
Okay, so now same thing with your eyes closed. About 10 seconds of this, I'll count. You just focus on the best feeling you had during the balance and integration process. Okay, so now whenever you feel like the lock-in process is complete, you can open your eyes. Okay. So now you're going to say your statement. You feel okay? Yeah. You're going to say your statement out loud like you mean it.
I am confident responding to challenging statements.
Be strong. I stay nice and strong. Okay, so y'all got to see 2 psych-K balances.